Hello, and welcome to Global Data Themes Instant Insights. At Global Data, we define a theme as something that keeps a CEO awake at night, as businesses that invest in important themes will succeed, and those that don't will fail.
Hi everyone, and welcome back to Instant Insights. I'm Sarah Coop, and today I'll be chatting to Emily Martyn, who is an infectious diseases analyst in another of the industry verticals at Global Data in the healthcare team. Hi Emily.
Hi Sarah, thanks for having me.
Thanks a lot for coming on. So today we'll be discussing the news about the number of monkeypox cases in the UK. I think it's reached 71 confirmed cases in recent weeks. So could you tell us, what is monkeypox? Why is it making headlines? And is there reason to panic?
So monkeypox is a virus that causes pox-like lesions on the soles of the feet, the palms, and all over the body. It typically looks like what smallpox used to look like. Now we are seeing a number of cases that are non-typical to different countries, so we call them non-endemic. Usually smallpox is located to Western Central African countries such as Nigeria and Cameroon. But the reason it is making headlines is we're seeing a number of cases all over Europe, including the 71 cases we've seen here in the UK. Ultimately, it is an exotic disease in our countries during a climate of heightened fear of outbreaks due to the COVID pandemic.
Brilliant. Thank you for clearing that up for us. So my next question is, how can we manage this? Are there any vaccines that currently exist for this?
We can definitely manage. In the majority of cases of monkeypox, the disease is quite mild and self-limiting, which means they can resolve themselves without intervention. Vaccines do exist, such as the Gynos vaccine. This is used to vaccinate against both monkeypox and smallpox. Additionally, existing smallpox vaccines can be used off-label as well. So while they're not approved for monkeypox, we know because they do work for smallpox, they'll work against monkeypox. Additionally, drugs exist, antivirals, such as tecovirimat, which is marketed for monkeypox in the EU, and potentially another antiviral called rincidofovir, which is marketed for smallpox in the US. There's also an antibody which helps boost the immune system for patients who are immunocompromised and can't have a vaccine. So this is known as vaccina immunoglobulin, or VIG. But again, for the majority of cases, supportive care will be the disease management, so mainly fluids and antibiotics.
Okay, brilliant. Thanks for that. So there's kind of treatments and vaccines out there. It's a better position than we were with COVID-19. So my next question is, what has been learned from the COVID-19 pandemic in terms of industry response?
What we're seeing is a very fast response from global health communities in disseminating data and communicating information with each other. So these networks and communities were strengthened or created during COVID, and they're being leveraged now in order to determine the outbreak patterns and track and trace. This can't happen without multi-agency engagement. In terms of industry, it's still early days, but there has been high level of engagement. So, for instance, Bavarian Nordic, who are the developers of the Gynos vaccine, have confirmed they've got new contracts with unnamed European countries to provide thousands or millions of doses. Typically, because it is a monkeypox, smallpox vaccine, prior to this, they usually produce in batch amounts of the vaccine rather than mass produce. So down the line, they could potentially enter production agreements with giant pharmaceutical companies to mass produce. Emergent Biosolutions, who market a smallpox vaccine, have announced that they're acquiring the rights to another antiviral called rincidofovir, which is an oral smallpox antiviral therapy, but this has been used off-label in the treatment of monkeypox. So what we're seeing is there is a lot of movement in the industry. So ultimately, what we're seeing is that COVID has spurred industries to seriously consider infectious diseases as an indication worth investing in. Prior to this, it was actually languishing quite a bit. We're seeing very fast, proactive responses rather than a wait-and-see approach. And I definitely think this has been triggered by the pandemic.
Oh, okay, brilliant. So we've definitely seen a shift in the industry. So final question, do you think we shouldn't expect another global pandemic?
Ultimately, with all the data that we currently have about this current outbreak and all the information that we already know about monkeypox, I would say no. This is a disease that we're already aware of. It isn't new. We know how it transmits. We know its method of action, how it works, from the microbiochemistry to the macroepidemiology. We already have in place vaccines and treatments. People who get monkeypox have very obvious symptoms. They're not asymptomatic. It's usually a mild, self-limiting disease. Finally, this virus is different to COVID. It does not tend to mutate, especially compared to the fast-growing COVID, which we've seen vaccine escape, as we called it. This is very unlikely with monkeypox. What we probably will see in the future is more events like this, clusters of monkeypox outbreaks every now and then. And this is due to the lack of smallpox vaccinations in our communities as of late. We haven't been protected against monkeypox in this generation, but it will be not the same as a pandemic. It will be not on the same scale as COVID.
Brilliant. Thanks a lot, Emily, for those instant insights and putting all our minds at rest as well. Thank you, everyone, for listening. And from us at Global Data Themes, see you next time.